Right now, the search is on for this man, who investigators identify as Leonard Hampton. 3 months ago, investigators say he escaped from a facility here in Baltimore, where he was serving the remainder of his sentence related to an armed carjacking. The U.S. Marshals Service now joining the search. December 12, 2023, Baltimore. 35-year-old Leonard Hampton is serving the remainder of his sentence at Volunteers of America, a residential reentry facility that helps prepare inmates to transition back into society. But on this day, Hampton, investigators say, decided to escape.
He just walked out of community custody.
The U.S. Marshals Service taking us back to 2016. That's when investigators say Hampton carjacked a driver at gunpoint in Prince George's County. Responding officers put out an alert, and soon after, investigators say officers in D.C. spotted Hampton behind the wheel of the stolen car.
So D.C. Metropolitan Police Department received the information indicating that this vehicle was stolen. Local law enforcement officers recognized the vehicle and attempted to stop it.
But Hampton, investigators say, refused to stop, instead leading officers on a pursuit that ended in a crash, and Hampton in custody.
He was charged with the armed carjacking in Prince George's County, but ultimately the reason he was serving a federal sentence was for the destruction of property and fleeing and eluding law enforcement down in D.C.
Hampton was convicted on those charges. During sentencing, a judge taking into consideration his criminal history, a history that, according to investigators, dates back to his juvenile years and includes arrest for assault, robbery, and gun possession. Hampton is sentenced to 20 years in prison, with all but 7 of those years suspended. Now, near the very end of his sentence, investigators say Hampton opted to walk out of the reentry facility.
And so we have every reason to believe that he is in fact armed and dangerous. You'd hope that when individuals are placed in a residential reentry center, that they would seize it as an opportunity to get back on the right foot. Unfortunately, the fact he's now placed on escape status shows that he's still committed to a life of criminal conduct.
Take a good look. Hampton stands at about 5'5" and weighs approximately 130 pounds. Investigators warn he is known to have violent tendencies. If you have any information regarding his whereabouts, you're asked to contact the U.S. Marshals Service. The tip line number, 1-877-WANTED-2. Or you can contact agents directly at 202-819-5058. Update. Just 4 days after appearing on Maryland's Most Wanted, a man who investigators say had been on the run for nearly a year and a half for a violent home invasion has been captured. According to the U.S. Marshals Service, Timothy Patterson was taken into custody in Baltimore March 11th. Patterson had been on the run since November 2022. Investigators say he pointed a gun in a woman's face and ransacked her home over $28 in North Baltimore. Deputy Marshal Al Maresca details a Baltimore police officer recognized Patterson from our segment while on routine patrol in the Central District and took him into custody.
So this fugitive was known to have violent tendencies, and he was wanted for a considerable period of time. The good thing is that because he was featured on Maryland's Most Wanted and he was easily recognizable by members of the community, law enforcement was able to follow up and take this individual successfully into custody.
If you recognize any of our fugitives, remember, you can always remain anonymous and you could earn a reward. I'm Alexa Ashwell, and this is Maryland's Most Wanted.